Man, Jordan Brand really made us wait for this shoe, and I mean years. Most of us thought that this shoe was releasing back in 2019. In fact, people started dropping reviews of this shoe and early looks of the sneaker, even though Jordan Brand hadn't even produced it. But for whatever reason, Jordan Brand decided to finally produce this shoe, and now in 2022, we have it in hand. What's up everybody, I'm Seth Fowler, and today I'm reviewing the upcoming Air Jordan 1 Taxi. So this shoe is coming out at a really weird time, a time when Jordan 1s are not as hyped as they used to be. In fact, you could probably walk into your local Foot Locker and find a pair of Jordan 1 highs sitting on shelves. 2 years ago, that's unthinkable. And also at a time where the world is falling into a recession, but people are still spending the way that they used to spend, this is just a really weird time for a colorway as heavily anticipated as this to release. 2 years ago, this shoe probably would have resold for $500, but now in 2022, a month before this shoe even releases in the United States, this shoe is reselling for like $30 to $40 over retail. And in my opinion, that's a great thing because it means that people who actually want this sneaker should have a much easier time grabbing this shoe. And speaking of grabbing this shoe, if you're looking to pick up a pair of the upcoming Air Jordan 1 Taxis, at least upcoming in the United States because they've apparently already dropped overseas, this shoe officially releases on September 24th for a slightly inflated retail price of $170. But like I said, you can grab this shoe for barely over retail like a month before its release on places like GOAT and StockX. And if you would like to grab a pair of the Taxis before they drop in the United States, I've made sure to leave an affiliate link to GOAT in the description below. Before we dive into the shoe though, I do want to take a quick look at the box because they did change things up quite a bit. The first thing that you'll notice is that this box is bright yellow. I mean, that's probably the main thing. But other than that, this box is pretty similar to a standard Air Jordan 1 box. You've got the Nike branding on top, the Nike branding on either side, and then of course the size tag, and the official colorway of this shoe is Taxi Black Sail. But getting back into the shoe, I do have to say that the shade of yellow used on the sneaker, now that I have it in hand, is a little bit different than what I thought. I mean, I keep thinking about those pictures of the 2019 pair that I saw online, and yes, while that shoe was never produced, and it was probably just images of a sample or images of a fake shoe that was based off of a sample, the yellow did seem a little bit brighter. That said though, I do think I prefer this sort of taxi cab yellow. It's a little bit more toned down than I would have expected, and I actually think it makes the shoe a lot more wearable. Now I know there are a lot of comparisons that have been drawn and will be drawn between the Air Jordan 1 Taxis and the shattered backboards, but I do have to say that the shades of colors used on these two shoes are very, very similar. I mean, obviously one is orange and one is yellow, but this shade of yellow is a lot more orange than I would have expected. One comparison though I have been pretty surprised by, and that's the apparent similarity of material usage on both of these shoes. I will get into that later on in the video, but I am genuinely surprised that people are making that comparison because to me, at least maybe on the pair that I have, the materials don't seem that similar. Before we get into that though, let's first talk about the inspiration or the apparent inspiration behind this colorway. So back in 2018, Jordan Brand gave Zach Myers, the guitarist from the band Shinedown, his own special edition PE Air Jordan 1. And that shoe was almost identical to this shoe except for the fact that it had a black exclamation point on the heel. Now I don't know a lot about the band Shinedown, but I do know that Zach Myers in particular is a huge sneakerhead. In fact, I followed him for years on Instagram and would check out the crazy sneakers in his collection. And I guess when you're a huge musician who's also a sneakerhead, Jordan Brand takes notice and sometimes gives you your own PE. I mean, we've got multiple DJ Khaled PEs, we've got a Macklemore PE, we've even got a Wahlberg PE. And obviously, who can forget Travis Scott? I mean, I had to re-record this part. So it makes a lot of sense that Jordan Brand would give someone like Zach his own PE, but what is surprising is the fact that they're releasing a shoe that's so similar. However, the story of Zach's PE is not the official inspiration behind this colorway. The official inspiration is apparently literally New York taxi cabs. Hence the name Jordan 1 Taxi, which is not the most exciting name in the world, but it gets the job done. I'm actually surprised that Jordan Brand didn't try to tie this colorway to some obscure Jordan moment like that one time he rode a taxi, which they always seem to do. But whatever the reason for this colorway is, I'm happy that this colorway is finally releasing. Getting into the materials that make up this shoe, around the tip of the toe of the sneaker, you've got this black leather mudguard. Then in the center of the toe, you've got this perforated taxi yellow leather. And this is where I get confused about what I've read about this sneaker because I've heard all over the place that people think this material quality is amazing and similar to the shattered backboards. Maybe not shattered backboard level, but similar. And I don't know if it's my pair or whatever the reason may be, but I just don't think this leather is that great. In fact, it feels very similar to a lot of the other recent Air Jordan 1 releases. I mean, sure, it's kind of soft, but it's not that much softer than really any other recent Air Jordan 1 release, at least any other recent premium Air Jordan 1 release. And the actual grain of the leather, the part of the leather that you can see in all these edges, isn't great either. I mean, there barely even is a grain, and the only grain that I can even see is on the yellow leather, but not on the white leather or the black leather. This is actually a perfect topic for Rose Anvil, comparing the material quality between these two shoes. I don't think it's that similar, but hey, maybe I'm wrong. Now, interestingly enough, Jordan Brand decided to not include a second set of laces in this shoe. In fact, I thought that I was missing the second set of laces. I looked all the way through the box, I looked inside the shoes. Turns out they just didn't include a second set, which is weird because they always seem to add at least one extra set of laces with Jordan 1s. In fact, sometimes they add like 4 sets of laces. It gets crazy sometimes. But for whatever reason, this shoe only came with black laces. Not yellow laces, not white laces, just black. I mean, let's be honest, I probably would have just left the black laces in anyway, but it is nice to have the option. Then underneath the laces, you've got this black nylon tongue, which is pretty much your standard Air Jordan 1 tongue. And at the top of the tongue, you've got this white tag with the Nike Air branding embroidered in yellow. Moving inside the sneaker, you've got your standard black padded sock liner. And then rounding off the inside of the shoe, you've got a matching yellow insole with the Nike Air branding printed on the heel in black. But getting to sizing and fit, the Air Jordan 1 High Taxi fits just like every other pair of Air Jordan 1s. For me, that's true to size, but for you, it might be something different. So I definitely recommend trying on a pair of Air Jordan 1 Highs before you buy this shoe, just to make sure that you're grabbing the right size for you. And like I said earlier on in the video, it shouldn't be too hard to find a pair even at a retail store, because pairs of Air Jordan 1 Highs are now sitting, which is crazy. Also, if you're looking for a great pair of socks to go along with your sneakers, my sock brand Apothecary is dropping our brand new dip dye collection. This collection comes in 4 different dip dye colors and drops first at SneakerCon DC this weekend. There's also going to be an online drop the following Monday, August 22nd at 11 a.m. Eastern Time on apothecary.com. But continuing back in the shoes, you've got this white leather midfoot panel, which feels alright, and then in the center of the midfoot panel, you've got this black leather Nike swoosh. Moving even farther back in the shoe, you get to more of your taxi colored yellow leather on the heel, as well as the Air Jordan Wings logo debossed into the lateral side. Then moving down on the shoe, you get to a white midsole, and rounding off the look, you've got a taxi yellow rubber outsole. Like I said at the beginning of this review, the Air Jordan 1 High Taxi is one of my most anticipated sneakers of the last couple years. And even after having to wait for like 3 years for this sneaker to release, I'm still just as excited about it. Yes, it's not the craziest sneaker in the world, it's just a new colorway of the Air Jordan 1s, but it's a clean colorway, and a color that I don't usually wear. I don't wear a lot of yellow, but this shoe is definitely one of those yellow sneakers that I would be happy to throw on. The good news is, if you want a pair of these, they shouldn't be that hard to get. I mean, they won't be the easiest sneaker in the world to get, but even if you have to pay resale, you're not going to have to pay that much over retail. And personally, I think if you like the colorway of this shoe, retail price is worth it, because this sneaker is awesome. But now I would love to know your thoughts on the upcoming Air Jordan 1 Taxis and whether this is a shoe that you're looking forward to. So make sure to let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below. And as always, thank you so much for watching. Make sure to subscribe if you haven't yet, and I'll see you all in the next one.